A federal judge ruling that 14 states can go ahead and move along with a lawsuit against Elon Musk and Donald Trump, which claims that DOGE illegally accessed government data systems, canceled government contracts, and
Yep.
fired federal workers. So this is coming out from Reuters. Again, just challenge this lawsuit is challenging Elon Musk's efforts to slash federal spending as the head of Donald Trump's new government agency. The attorneys are from New Mexico, Oregon. 12 other states have filed a lawsuit back in February. So this has been going on for quite some time now, alleging that Trump has given Musk what they refer to as, quote, unchecked legal authority.
Mm.
Yes, without any authorization from
No
the U.S.
kidding.
Congress. The lawsuit seeks to halt DOGE's efforts and also to, halt their efforts to slash federal spending and shut down U.S. agencies which are disfavored by Donald Trump. The states argue that Musk wields the kind of power that can only be exercised by an officer of the government who has been nominated by the president and confirmed by the Senate, and DOGE itself has not been authorized by Congress. Okay. These are the conversations that we were having the entire time. Someone needs to explain how DOGE even has, how it exists in the first place. Any entity in the government, whether it's, the Department of Education, the Department of Homeland Security, the Department of, Health and Human Services, any department in the executive branch has to be established through Congress. And anyone who is nominated, this is why every single person who is, heading one of these agencies has to go before the Senate and has to be nominated and has to be confirmed by the Senate in order to operate something like this. So Elon Musk just creating something out of thin air and saying, yeah, I'm the head of it now. This was always illegal. This is the thing that everyone's been screaming at the top of their lungs about, Natalie, for the entire time, is how is everything about this not illegal? How is it that this person is still not in jail? Elon Musk should be in prison. Donald Trump is shielded from this because of the Supreme Court giving the most ridiculous blanket, shielding immunity that we've ever seen in our lifetime, saying that basically the president can do whatever they want to because they can just call it an official act. This is just beyond Trump has moved the Overton window so dramatically with what we define as corruption anymore because of how corrupt of a president he is. But this even more so is beyond the pale. So what were your thoughts when you kind of saw this lawsuit, these lawsuits being able to go forward now?
I mean, I agree with everything that you said, and all of the details that you provided are so true and so real. And there goes my light. It's back. Okay. This is an ongoing joke, guys. I'm sorry. But getting to the heart of this, Elon Musk is a traitor to the United States, and he has committed treason. I guarantee somewhere in Russia, all of the information that he stole from our government buildings is somehow over there. Okay. There's been whistleblowers about this. I find this all really interesting, the timing of it. Now that he's stepping down, he wrote a tweet Wednesday night explaining that his scheduled time as a special government employee was coming to an end, leading many outlets to conclude that he was done with the so-called Department of Government Efficiency. Wow, how convenient. You came in, you stole a bunch of our data, which why aren't we talking about that as the central context of this whole issue? And now you're just, bye guys, peace, I'm out of here. I'm going to go do ketamine with my girlfriends and, be on my merry way. I am appalled by the reality of the lack of government oversight that we have experienced for the past several months, but also how easily he is just moving in and out of these spaces with little to no repercussions. When, of course, if you and I were to walk into a secured building within the United States government's under their jurisdiction with private servers and a bunch of tech bros with us in tow, putting stuff on our own servers and leaving, we would be in jail. Why is there and has there been a separate set of rules for this man? And also, yes, Trump may have immunity now, but he's not going to be president forever. And so I wonder, at what point will he start to see the repercussions of his actions when he becomes a private citizen again? How does this immunity work post-president? Can any of the things that he is doing now be carried over? And will there be any legal ramifications for him after the fact? Will there be civil suits? Maybe he can't go to court on a criminal basis, but could private citizens sue him once he is a private citizen himself? I don't know how this is all going to play out, but the level of blatant corruption, hypocrisy, fraud, waste, and treasonous activity is so monumental that you and I, in our lifetimes, we as millennials, it's like we keep living through unprecedented times. It's like, Desmond, I'm tired. Like, I'm barely 40 and I'm so tired.
I understand completely. And yeah, it's amazing to me that we have to keep having these conversations.
Yeah.
But, unfortunately, to answer one of your earlier questions, like, can he be tried for this afterwards? The short answer is no. No, he can't be.
Damn.
Because of what the Supreme Court's decision was last year, saying that basically everything that the president does, while he is in office is considered apparently is just beyond reproach. This is why this decision made by them was so absolutely devastating. And we'll have to come back to the ridiculous decisions that they've been making a little bit later in the show, because it's going to come up again. But yeah, we have to rethink checks and balances at this point. That is what Donald Trump has done to our entire government system, because we have a system right now set up to where the entity that's supposed to go after illegal activity is the Department of Justice, which is under the thumb of Donald Trump. So he tells them what to do. And the idea before was, if the executive gets too far out of bounds, the legislative branch will just check him. But he has them essentially under his thumb now too. Articles of impeachment can only be brought to the House floor if the Speaker of the House allows it, who is Mike Johnson, a Republican. He'll never do that. And so you can't even do anything about it. So they can flagrantly disobey the law. They can flagrantly just do any illegal activity whatsoever. Trump is shielded from it. And no one's coming after you in the meantime, because the Department of Justice does whatever Trump tells them to do. And Congress will never impeach him. Like, this system is just completely just broken. It's completely broken.
I think we should change this show to Ways to Bring Out the Sunshine with Desmond and Natalie. It's so overwhelming. It's so
I don't want to lie to people about what the state of play is, though. That is where we're at.
This is it to me. It's like, this is why I think so many people right now, are in our DMs every day feeling completely paralyzed and feeling completely overwrought and overwhelmed, because this didn't happen overnight, to what you were just saying, Desmond. And Trump has only been able to usurp this much power because the legislature has slowly given the president more and more and more power over time. I mean, even under Obama, there were way too many executive orders being dished out. We can talk about each president and our issues with each of them individually, but this isn't so much about the individual as it is, why do we keep giving the president so much power? I'm at a point now where I'm like, the president should be like how the current King of England is. It's a figurehead who goes to ribbon cuttings and literal, signs declarations for its National Pizza Day, and really doesn't have much more authority than that, and leave the actual lawmaking and law passing to the Congress, where there are multiple voices that have to fight it out in order for something to happen. Because this has really eroded my trust in how our governmental system has been set up. Because I said this to you a long time ago, if I knew it was this easy to overtake our government, why did it take the Republicans this long? Because they have managed to disregard and disrespect every single piece of our Constitution, and no one apparently can stop them. So apparently the founding fathers didn't set up a great system. So maybe we got to rethink this entire model, because it is not working, and it's not working for the American people at the end of the day. And that's who I care about, truly.
On one hand, these are people who were all in their 20s and 30s, 250 years ago. And on the other hand, these are a bunch of slave owners.
I was just going to say, don't forget that part.
Years ago. Mm-hmm. So I mean, maybe they didn't have everything, ironed out. Maybe also it's hard to anticipate someone like Donald Trump. I know none of the rest of us didn't. So
I bet you if you'd had a few sensible women that had been able to weigh in on the Constitution as it had been being made, I think we would have seen a different outcome. Just
we
saying.
could start over. Like,
I would love that.
We could definitely start over. No, but in all honesty, we are seeing like the true like problems in the system here.
Yes.
I saw someone on the comments a minute ago. They had mentioned that what about the 25th Amendment? Unfortunately, with the 25th Amendment, basically every member of your cabinet has to sign off on
that's
it
not happening.
In order to, like take down a president. That's essentially what that does. You're not seeing that happen. You're not getting every member of the cabinet to all of a sudden like launch a coup against Donald Trump. That's not going to happen.
So here's a question too from Marcia Sipple. She says, "Can they reverse the decision of immunity?"
They could. We're gonna get into that a little bit down the line here about the fact that the Supreme Court can and has essentially that's what happened with Roe following with the Dobbs decision back in 2022. Like they decided like, oh yeah, that previous Supreme Court decision, we're done with that now. We're done with that.
Yep.
Now. We don't need a reason other than we've changed our minds. We're different people. They were different people. Whatever. Yeah. So the Supreme Court has that ability to do that. Yes. Will they?
Listen,
I don't know. I don't know. So here, the final thing I want to say about this subject is that like we all see the things that have happened underneath DOGE. That and if you were here for my live yesterday, you probably heard me say some of this stuff. But I kind of just want to like just go back and talk about it one more time here. What happened underneath DOGE? Cutting of pediatric cancer research. DOGE did that. Funding for HIV and malaria treatment. DOGE cut that. Fired top nuclear safety officials, had to then turn around, run back, ask these people to come back after they realized who they had fired because they didn't even realize who they were firing. Fun times. Getting rid of air traffic controllers who were making sure that planes stayed in the sky and they started falling out of the sky. Fun times. Gutting the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, who their main job is to make sure that the American people are not being ripped off by giant corporations. I cannot imagine why Elon Musk wanted to gut that facility. I cannot imagine why he wanted to do that. Cutting Meals on Wheels. Who needs that? Get rid of that.
That's evil.
Hacked into the U.S. Treasury, and we still do not know how much data he took out of there or where it went or to what end. Also, cutting the staff of the Social Security office at a time where they're obviously trying to dismantle it. So it makes it harder for people who are trying to access their Social Security benefits. Those are all being harder to access now. And also, lastly here, making sure to cut basically any agency that was investigating his companies, Elon Musk companies, or that were directly competing against his companies. And to be fair, Natalie, I'm not even listing everything right now.
No, I know. I know. These are the highlights.
This was all done by him and a bunch of 22-year-olds that he found fresh out of college that he was making them essentially live in some of these buildings and having people who worked there come and like walk the plank and beg for their jobs in front of a bunch of like 22-year-old kids that Elon Musk just pulled out of nowhere. Yeah. Like it's madness what just took place. And our system does not have any recourse for actually prosecuting these people right now. And that is patently insane.
I'm going to need Botox after this because it's like my brow is so furrowed from listening to what you just said. I'm like, don't react. Because it's terrible. It's literally like when you run it all down, it's enough to make somebody just want to scream because once again, it just goes back to this issue of accountability. And that's really, it leans itself into the next topic that we wanted to touch on.
Yeah. Oversight.
Which is around oversight. And